Alright guys, so with phase 6 just around the corner, it's a good time to cover what you need to be preparing for right now, because with the phase 6 launch event is a limited time Scourge invasion event where you'll be able to pick up some weapon enhancements which will be best in slot for next Ramus, and once the event disappears you can't get these anymore. So these weapon enhancements for melee in particular are called Consecrated Sharpening Stones. They're up to a 40 DPS increase for rogues depending on your spec and your race. But you basically don't want to miss out on these. And casters also have their own respective Blessed Wizard Oil. So let's cover the Scourge Invasion event and how you can farm and get these before the event disappears. And of course, if you like this content, don't forget to come say hi at twitch.tv/snowme, where I do this sort of content all the time. I answer questions and chat with you guys and hang out. So if you like this sort of thing, come say hi, twitch.tv/snowme. Alright, let's get into the video. Alright, so let's go over the phase 6 Scourge Invasion guide and what you need to know. As always, if you want to check out this text version, it's all on classicroguecraft.com. You can check out this text version, it's linked in the description below. But first, let's cover the basics. So what is the Scourge event and why do you care? Well, at the start of phase 6, these Scourge are going to appear in a few different places around Azeroth, and this is part of the launch event for next Ramus. Now what you need are these Consecrated Sharpening Stones you see right here. So these are amazing. They are the best weapon enhancement item you can put onto your weapons for next Ramus, because as you can see, for melee it does 100 attack power versus undead for each application. So if you have two weapons, you can put them on both for Alliance. Obviously Horde are only going to use it for on the offhand, and Alliance are going to use it for both, because obviously Horde have Wind Fury. Now for casters, they also get the Blessed Wizard Oil, so casters will also be wanting to do this event, but obviously I'm a rogue, so we're going to cover the rogue data here. Now, how much of an increase is this for you guys? Well, you can see here are the numbers. Horde Dagger, 21 DPS increase. Horde Sword, 27 DPS increase. Alliance Dagger, 32 to 33 DPS increase. Alliance Sword, 40 DPS increase. So you can see on the Alliance side, the DPS is even higher because Alliance use 2 weapon enhancement stones and Horde will only use 1 because they have Wind Fury in their main hand. But as you can see, even at the lowest end 21 DPS, this is still a very good DPS. This is like a free, it's basically a free DFT or better. So everyone that's a min-max raider is going to be farming these, and especially as a Lance Sword, it's 40 DPS increase, which is huge. So 40 DPS from just something you can do over a few days is really good. Now, as I said, these Consecrated Stones are only available for the length of this invasion event. So once this event disappears, you cannot get these Sharpening Stones anymore, or the Blessed Wizard Oil for the casters out there. You cannot get this once the event ends. And we don't know how long the event is going to last is the thing, because talking to others about old vanilla days, this event went on for a few weeks, but we don't know whether this is going to speed through quicker, because the population sizes on WoW Classic are so much larger on every server. So it's possible that this event could end way quicker because we're going to reach the required amount of battles won for the event to just disappear earlier than it did in Classic the first time around with the old vanilla days. So basically, if you want these, you should get them ASAP when the event is there. Now, how do you get these Consecrated Sharpening Stones? Well, you need 8 Necrotic Runes per Sharpening Stone, and these runes drop from the Scourge mobs that you kill during the invasion event. So you need 8 per Sharpening Stone or Blessed Wizard Oil, whichever, if you're a caster or if you're a melee, and you need 10 as well for the pre-quest. So before the NPC will let you exchange Necrotic Runes for whatever you want from them, you need to do the pre-quest, which requires 10 Necrotic Runes. Now, if you want the quick math, if you want 36 Sharpening Stones, so let's say you raid for 3 months of raiding and you raid 3 hours a week. So this is just a random estimate I threw in there. Obviously some people are going to raid more, some people are going to raid less, but let's say you need 3 hours of Nax every week for 3 months, you need 36 Sharpening Stones. And if you're Alliance, you need double that. So you need 72 stones if you're Alliance for the same number, because you use it on both weapons instead of just one weapon on Horde. Now, if we convert that into Necrotic Runes, you will need 288 Necrotic Runes for Horde or 576 Necrotic Runes for Alliance. So this if you're really sweaty and you want to use them for 3 hours every next raid for 3 months. Now, as far as how long next Ramus is going to take to clear for every individual guild is going to depend, but just be aware that the more hardcore guild you are in, the quicker your guild's going to run. I would expect 60 to 90-minute runs once the people are geared and settled in if you're in a hardcore guild. So Salad Bakers actually does have a 1 hour and 8-minute run on YouTube. So that's kind of a baseline you can use if you want to see what speeds these hardcore guilds are going to be clearing in once they get everything settled in and figured out. So yeah, your mileage may vary, but I just threw this number there for you guys to get a rough estimate of how long or how much farming you might need to do. Now, besides the consecrated sharpening stones, for rogues in particular, do we care about the Undead Sling set? The answer is no, we do not care. This set sucks. So this is basically 3 items: a tunic of Undead Sling, a wrist reps of Undead Sling, and a hand reps of Undead Sling. So these 3 items basically come from various places in the events or can be exchanged for with Necrotic Runes. And they're basically just taking away all the stats from your gear, adding a bunch of attack power to its undead, and the 3-set bonus gives you 2% damage versus undeads. So on paper, it doesn't seem that bad, but then if you think about it, you're basically losing all your other stats in exchange for this. And it's basically just too much. If you want to talk about the maths, you're basically losing about 30 to 40 DPS if you're in high-end raid gear right now and you swap over to this set. So it's just not worth, unfortunately. So you can get this set if you want them for collector's reasons, but if you're talking about a raid geared rogue looking at this set, you do not want to use this set at all. Okay, now how do I get these Necrotic Runes? Well, there's a couple ways. So method 1 is the invading Scourge appear in Undercity installments. So what I did is I went on PTR, I checked it out on PTR and went around the cities and went around to the different locations and checked out all the different mobs. So the first type of mob is the Pallid Horror. So these are level 60 elites. You cannot solo them, but you can help the NPCs kill them as well. Once they do die, they spawn a faint necrotic crystal. And this faint necrotic crystal can be interacted with anyone in the vicinity. You don't have to have been involved with killing the mob. It's just a thing that spawns after the Pallid Horror dies. And it'll basically give you a quest which lets you pick up a free consecrated sharpening stone if you turn it in over at Light's Hope in Eastern Plaguelands. Now the second type of mob is the Flame Shocker. So the Flame Shockers are level 55 elites. You can solo them if you have half decent gear, but they do have a lot of HP for level 55. So just be aware that you do take a little while to kill, but if you're decently geared, you can kill them just fine by yourself. These have a chance to drop Necrotic Runes. However, that said, you do not want to bother with these NPCs in the cities if you're just after farming Necrotic Runes. I do recommend that you probably go kill one of the Pallid Horrors or find someone that's killed a Pallid Horror and go get the free consecrated sharpening stone from the faint necrotic crystal that spawns after you kill those. But this is not where you're going to be farming your Necrotic Runes. Now, where you will be farming your Necrotic Runes is at the Necropolis Invasion Assault areas. So these Necropolis will spawn in 6 zones, and they continuously spawn a large amount of invading Scourge below them. They're basically a mini event which involves killing a bunch of these Scourge that spawn, and once you kill enough of them, they'll spawn some other guys that you talk to, and those other guys will spawn a bigger guy that you kill, and that's basically the event. Now this is going to be the best way for you to farm Necrotic Runes, and it's likely that you want to form teams of farmers or guildies to secure a section for yourself, because you're going to be fighting for tags, basically. You're going to be fighting for tags. If anyone did the Phase 5 launch event, it's going to be similar to that, where you're going to be fighting for the tags of all the mobs that spawn. Now these Necropolis spawn in 6 zones, so they spawn in Eastern Plaguelands, Burning Steppes, Blasted Lands, Tanaris, Ashara, and Winter Spring. There are multiple spots in each zone, so here's a map for you. This map is also in the text guide, so you can check out the text guide if you want to reference it later. But I did check out these spawn spots on PTR, and they seem fairly accurate. So these are the locations where the Necropolis spawn. They're really obvious because it's a big floating Necropolis in the sky. It's pretty hard to miss, and there's a whole bunch of Scourge nearby each Necropolis. So let's talk about how this event actually works. So step 1 is you can check your map in the zone, and you can look for where active assaults are. So on your map, you see marks where active assaults are going on, or you can actually talk to the Argent Dawn NPC in town. So you see these tents with Argent Dawn NPCs, and you can talk to them, and they'll basically tell you this is where Necropolis assaults are happening right now, and how many active Necropolis are in each zone. So then you're going to head to the Necropolis zone. You're going to start killing Scourge mobs. Now each Scourge mob that you kill is going to damage this shard that's in the middle of all of them. Now if you actually kill enough Scourge mobs to damage this shard down to 0, 4 acolytes will spawn and they'll try to heal the shard. You can talk to these acolytes and exchange 8 Necrotic Runes to spawn an elite mob called the Shadow of Doom. Now if you kill this Shadow of Doom, this will basically end the event. He does have a chance to drop an Undead Sling chest piece among the other Undead Sling chest pieces. And he does also drop 30 Necrotic Runes. So basically you get a profit of 22 Necrotic Runes if you want to kill the Shadow of Doom. And once you kill the Shadow of Doom, the assault is over. And that's the end of this Necropolis assault. You have to wait for the respawn for another Necropolis to spawn, basically. So this is your main farm. You're just going to be doing this. You're going to try to secure Necropolis zone. And you're just going to be killing Scourge mobs and farming Necrotic Runes. Now, we should cover there's a few rares and other things that can spawn and drop when you are doing this event. So during the event, from time to time, you will see some rares spawn. So there's a Lumbering Horror, a Bone Witch, or a Spirit of the Dam. They just spawn in place of one of the NPCs. They basically drop extra Necrotic Runes and the Undead Sling Bracer. Now, as well as that, there are letter drops. So you can see here, I got a smudged document. Now, there's 6 different letters that can drop, and turning one into the NPC will basically allow you to get some special food and drink that gives you a heart over your head when you eat. They don't do anything else. There's no extra benefit over just normal level 45 food and drink. So it's not really a big deal. So this is more of a cosmetic thing. If you care about them, then great. If not, then these don't provide any actual stats to you for getting this quest. Now, last thing I will say is if you care about collecting unique items, there is the Haunted Memento that does drop from these invaders during the event. It's basically an item that if you keep in your inventory, it summons a Scourge Haunt that will follow you around. It serves no purpose, it's a novelty item, but you might want to keep this if you like collecting little pets and things like that. Now, one other thing I will note is that because this event works on a tag system, even if you are the guy that spawns the Shadow of Doom towards the end of the event, you still need to win the tag. So just be aware of that. Just because you spawn the Shadow of Doom Elite to get the 30 Necrotic Runes of him, if you do not tag him, someone else can steal the tag. So just be aware that there may be tag stealers trying to steal the tag. You just form groups and hopefully you have a druid or someone to instant tag them, because you will be fined for tags if people are being a little bit scummy there. So this is basically the Necropolis Assault event. Once enough of these events are beaten, the event is going to end and you won't be able to get Necrotic Runes or Sharpening Stones anymore. So just be aware of that, get them while you can, and form your groups ahead of time so that you can be ready to farm this event. There's going to be a lot of people, including myself, who are basically just going to live there and farm these consecrated sharpening stones until we have enough to last us for the entirety of next Ramis. Alright, so if you like this video and you're not subscribed already, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will catch you guys in the next video or on Twitch at twitch.tv/snowme.